It's Friday morning or some other time, and it's time for the weekly recap. Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Video Call-In Show, that show that invites you to be a live guest. That's right, you to be a live guest on this program at any time to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. Joining is real easy. All you've got to do is hit zoom.us, put that in your browser, click on join a meeting, enter that meeting ID number when it asks for it, and by gosh, you will come up in my green room, and I'll bring you up first come, first serve, stack them up, babe. That's how are all of you this wonderful Friday morning? As you can see, it's a beautiful day out. I've got a busy day ahead of me. I'm actually going out to install a lift help install a lift in my son's garage. And it's one of those two-post lifts, full vehicle lift. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of concrete drilling. Oh boy, you can't imagine how much I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I'm really looking forward to having it, up and running. But I tell you, it is going to be a lot of work. Let's say hello to all you wonderful people in the chat who have shown up on this bright Friday morning. For some of you, Friday afternoon. I don't know. We've got who was first here? King Jellybean. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you again. Studio Geek 32. Welcome to the show. Jesse Mendez. How are you, my friend? Susan Hamilton. Always a pleasure to see you. Soulless Trenchcoat. It's been a while, my bud. Been a while. Let's see. We've got Emmanuel Goffey. Hello to you, my friend. Hello, D90. Been a while for you as well. Ben Red YT. Good to see you again. You were there just last night. I hope you guys had fun last night. Last night was a fun show. Speaking of Muscle Car Appraisal, how you doing, Bob and or Jim? Good to see you guys. Nightbot, take off. Fantastic. I see most of you are doing good. That's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, yesterday, I'll just start with last night's show. Last night's show was awesome. I had the second time I've had a guest on twice in one show, and that was the first one was with Angel Munez. The second one was last night with a Not a Great Gamer. He came on and he had some more things that he wanted to cover. Oh, we actually learned a lot. I know most of you were there. I recognize the names, but we certainly learned a lot. And that, watch, I'm going to try to tag this. Let's see if I remember later. Is that the right side? Nope. Let's see if I remember to tag this thing later. That'd be fun because I'm horrible at that. Let's see. Let's before I bring up my first guest, let's go over some of the things. Well, I wasn't on Monday night. I had to hang out with the wife. She's got bronchitis, coughing like you wouldn't believe. She's now on a Z-Pack and several other meds, trying to get rid of it. It's getting better. So, but Tuesday night I talked about camping stories. Talked about a few of mine. Some of my guests shared some of those. We'll have those guest cuts coming out very, very soon. It's like almost everyone has a camping story that they can. Well, thank you, Studio Geek. It says my audio sounds good. That's awesome. Why is YouTube broken? It's dark here. That window actually works. It does. It's actually a real window. That is actually my neighbor's backyard, though. I got to tell you that. And one of the reasons I want to downsize. I want a downsize house. I want to upsize land and downsize neighbors. I like neighbors, but I can do without neighbors. Living, yes, how you doing? Welcome to the show. So anyway, then we moved on to Tuesday night show, and that was, I'm sorry, Wednesday night show. And that was, we covered irrational fears. I didn't think I had any. And once we got into it, I found out that I had a few. Now, of course, like I've said in the show several times, let's see, I'll try to tag that one as well. Like I said in the show, I didn't think I had any, but irrational fears are only rational when looked at from the outside. right? Because if you've got a fear, it doesn't seem irrational to you at all. So get a good opinion, try to work through it. And then, of course, last night was our funniest story. That was a fun one. That was a lot of fun. Had several people on, all telling me, telling us their funny stories and more. Like I said, we learned a whole bunch from Not a Great Gamer about petroleum products. You'll have to watch that later. Yeah, let's see how many tags can you put in a video? That'd be fun to find out. All right. Well, I tell you what, let's without further ado, I'm going to have to see. Here's the thing, folks. When you do join, and I do not recognize your the moniker that you've given yourself in Zoom, I have to ask for video. So the ID number that you put in there, 604-997-232, is actually the meeting ID. Boom, right there. So, oh, well, look at you. Oh man. All right. So give me look, and I still have your I can't hear you though, bud. Make sure the correct mic is chosen. See, you put cryptic stuff in there, and it makes me pause. Oh, we'll wait. We will absolutely wait for you, bud. Yeah, just make sure that Zoom is referencing that microphone, or if you've got it going into a mixer, make sure that your microphone in Zoom is actually the mixer. So are you guys doing? Oh, Shauna Marie Penny, how you doing? 75. That is a wonderful temperature, outdoor temperature, 75. One of my favorites, actually. So are you guys doing okay in the chat, all of you folks? Hey, Riley Finchfield Food Reviews. How you doing, buddy? One away from 1,600. Well, hopefully you'll find somebody here that will go look at your stuff. And let's not over promote in the chat. Somebody will look at your stuff and find out that that's exactly what they want to see. Maybe you'll hit 1,600. That would be awesome. Cool, Jesse. Good. Soul's trench coat, awesome. Fantastic. Come on, Yogafi, awesome. Doing great. I'm doing great too. I'm actually in a very good mood this morning. Tired. I had to get up early and take my small dog to the groomer. She's getting all chopped up. She probably would have appreciated that last weekend when we were camping and it was heat index well over 100. They were okay with it. And that's the wonderful thing. Oh, I might have lost you. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room and we'll bring up guest number 2. But when you get that figured out, come back on, bud. All right. Should be ask you. Okay, rejoining. Cool. I'm not going to change that. Now I don't have that muted, so we should be hearing you. Make sure that correct mic is. There we go. Oh, now I've got to change things. Give me just 1 second here. See, what people don't realize is that I try to put a lower third in for everyone, and that takes me a moment to either copy paste or use my sausage fingers to type it in. King Jellybean, how you doing this morning, man?
Oh, tired. That's early, but I'm here.
I hear that, my friend. On Wi-Fi again, I see.
Yeah, I know. It is like, my internet connection is unstable. I don't know why.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I always, and I think you and I had this discussion before, I always recommend hard wiring using the Ethernet cable into your like cable modem. Can't always do that with a phone. I get it, but yeah, if you have a chance to hardwire, then that is always your best bet when it comes to live streaming. That's actually good information for both you and Sammy, Studio Geek 32, because that is true on both sides. If you're going to be on a live stream show, hardwire is the way to go. If you're going to host or switch like Sammy does for you, a live stream, hardwire is the best thing for him as well. So if everybody's hardwired, things go so much smoother. So how are you on this wonderful Friday morning, man?
Well, it's been a good morning. I've been working on some paperwork online. I've got to get some stuff printed out over the next couple of days because I'm out of town right now. I went up to see my mama's. As soon as I get back in town, I can head over to my public library and print a bunch of paperwork out that I have to do. Fun.
Yeah, paperwork is always fun, isn't it?
Yeah, wonderful.
Oh, I hate paperwork. Was that viewed this? How you doing, Tony? Yeah. So what's if you don't mind me asking, is it for your project? Is that what the paperwork's for?
Well, I have to. Right now, I'm doing a bunch of writing. I used to write a bunch of poems, and right now I'm working on publishing a poem book within the next year. And then I'm also working on a musical right now and a play that I wrote a while back. I've got to go back and fix that. And then it's a lot of paperwork for the Change Project too. So kind of a mix of everything.
Ah, yes, poetry. And what was
Yeah,
the other thing you said?
plays and musicals.
Plays and musicals, dude. What do you want to be when you grow up? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, it just depends, kind of, because like my school does not offer a theater program anymore or a psychology program.
Hmm.
And I was going to be a teacher a long time ago, but then I was like, there's so much more that I could do. And so like now I'm just going to have to work on figuring out a way to either I want to get a degree in psychology, yes. So I don't have to worry about professional stuff whenever it comes to helping people online without a degree. Um, I also really want to be in theater, be a Broadway actor or a musical writer.
Very cool. Very cool, man. Those are great aspirations
Yeah.
for both you and the people you surround yourself with, man. Because you sound like, well, you are obviously somebody who likes to help other people. There is no question about that. But I think you've got a lot to contribute, my friend. A lot. Wow, that's very cool. I'm trying to process it, so give me a moment here. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed or the quickest. That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Um, do you have a college that maybe you'd want to go to? I know maybe a little bit early, but you're getting close.
Well, there's Lee University is a big college in my town. It's known, a lot of places know it. And it's a good place to go. It's just way more expensive than any other college around here. But I thought about going out of state. I've been looking at a couple places. I've been working at some places that have weather programs because I also do weather as a hobby
Mhm.
on the side. And everybody tells me I should be a weatherman, and I'm like, no, just a side thing. Um, and it's in South Carolina. I don't even remember the name of it, but I don't really know. I thought about doing an online college.
Hmm.
Maybe won't have to pay as much when it comes to that. So yeah.
Yeah, and you'll probably cut through a lot of the bull crap too, doing it that way. Because I worry about colleges today in that they don't so much teach as they do. Um, I don't know. I don't want to go down that road, but yeah, they've just become a little bit too on the outside for me. I would rather people learn, facts, figures, and just be educated more so than told what to think. And yeah, so online might be a very, very good alternative. In fact, I think that's where it's probably going to end up going in the future. Uh, we may not see so many brick and mortar educational institutions. And in fact, when I like 3 or 4 years ago, I was already working with one of the largest online high school education entities here in Indiana, and it just seems like that was so much easier for so many people, and and still had like the extracurricular activities which help you socialize and all that kind of thing, which is one of the best things about school. But they even have homeschooling programs where the same thing applies. You learn at home, but you socialize and do all those activities with groups of people. Is that dad in the background?
Do what?
Grandpa?
Yeah.
Hello, Grandpa. An unexpected guest. I love that.
I know it's great.
Hello, Patty Broussard. How are you? She says she so agrees about college these days. We have Tessa's college fund completely done, but we will not be using it for a brick and mortar place. No way. That's awesome, Patty. That is fantastic. Fantastic. And they're digging their own grave, aren't they?
Yeah. Really are. A lot of colleges are.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. It's kind of sad. It's really kind of
yeah.
sad for you guys more than anything else, because, it used to be those are going to be the best, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8 years of your life. And it doesn't turn out that way anymore. So now, but hey, you still get to get that if you do it away from the brick and mortar institution. So that's awesome. Paperwork sucks. I'm all
I
over the
know.
board this morning. All over the board. It feels like we just got done talking. Oh wait, seems like just yesterday.
Yesterday.
You're gonna have to write this into one of your screenplays. This idiot on YouTube, yeah. Well, anything else you'd like to yak about there, King?
Well, not really. It's kind of what's going to be happening over the next couple days of paperwork and working. Whenever I come up here, I work and get everything kind of done for the next couple weeks.
Sure, sure. Yep. Well, that's thinking ahead too. I mean, don't
Yeah,
procrastinate, right?
exactly.
Well, guys, he's got this change project that is fantastic. He dropped a link, and feel free to drop another link in the chat when we're done. I want you to check out. He's a up and coming young man who's seemed you man you seem to got it together. I love that. Seemed like you've got it together. That was a word salad. Sorry. And yeah, I encourage you to check out that project and follow it and see if you know anyone who might be helped by it. Point them that way. That's what I got to say about that. So make sure you drop a link in the chat after we're done. Sound good?
Alrighty.
All right, buddy. I'm gonna see if Sammy's good to go.
Yeah.
He said he jumped back on and should be a-okay. So um, you better have a good weekend. Oh, you too, Grandpa. I saw him again. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks, man, for coming on. We'll talk at you later.
Alright. Have a good day, everybody.
You too. Bye
Bye bye.
bye. I was just telling somebody last night that I'm not one to blow smoke up people's butts. I mean it when I say that. I watched one of his impromptu interviews. I think they were just kind of warming up. In fact, he was talking about it last night. and and King, you're good, man. You're very good. Good on the mic, good on camera, and you conducted the interview like what I thought was totally pro. None of that. Well, what's next for you? That's how people commonly start out interviews. Granted, I'm not the best either, but he is really doing well. Let's see how Sammy does here. We had Graham Stacker. How you doing, bud? Welcome to the show. if I missed anyone else, guys, if you have any questions, this is something I keep forgetting to point out. But if you have any questions for me or my guests, make sure you tag me, the video calling show, in the chat, and I will recognize it as such. Hopefully, I can't guarantee anything. This is a live show. I'm a one man band, and I've got 5 monitors here begging for my attention, plus you guys and the guests. So it's sometimes it's hard to juggle. Sammy, I got you
Yeah.
back. There we are. I got you back in. Now I can hear you, dude. But I can't
I
see.
think
There you.
my mic or mixer was wonky.
Oh, that does happen. That does happen.
With like what's it called? It's like maybe with Zoom. Maybe that's why.
What mixer are you using?
I'm using a Behringer 8, like X1204.
Oh,
One of those.
1204. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the 1202. Now, do you?
Isn't it like the small one?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think 4 XLRs and then maybe 4 more inputs, so it's an 8 total.
Yeah.
With effects. Do you have effects on yours?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost the same unit. I forget what the difference between the 1202 and the 1204 is. Maybe yours
I
is
think
USB.
it has more inputs.
Could be, but does yours USB?
Yeah.
Okay, mine's not. That's the difference. I didn't need USB for mine because it was just handling my drum mics, and then I had it going into the outputs of it going into my main mixer, and then I could mic my drums really well. And I used to actually use it for this sort of thing. Whenever I go to do an on location podcast for somebody, I would use my 1204 because it's easier to, or 1202 because it was easier to drag around than the XR. Now, how do you have that hooked up to your computer, if you don't mind me asking?
USB.
Oh, okay, yeah. And well, duh, yeah, it's USB. See, what I had to do is I had to do it manually. It had to come in via the outputs, which I believe are the 1/4 inch jacks, into the 3.5 millimeters, and then I've got a small. And I wish I could show you this because I could, but I got a spare. But it's a small adapter that takes both the inputs and output 3.5 millimeters, and it's got a USB for my production PC.
That's one of the problems. Like, if you have it, like I have studio gear and I have like Focusrite, but they are all connected right now.
Oh, sure.
And so I have like a big Focusrite that's 8 channels.
Uh-huh.
And the only problem is it's FireWire. And like and it actually still works amazingly. There's a problem. My computer doesn't have the port, so I got a dongle. And that was pretty good, but there's a problem. Like the newest OS is not recognized, so I have to downgrade from the beta, I think.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: Do you know anything about the AISO drivers, the audio drivers that see whenever I use the XR, I have to have the AISO driver on my PC, so it will even recognize the digital output of the XR. And I wonder, you don't need that, huh?
No.
Oh, very cool.
Because I have like a Mac and it usually works because I use like Logic Pro, and in seconds it recognizes it.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Why don't I need it?
What's that?
Why don't I need it?
I think Mac's got it built in, the AISO driver. Yeah. So what brings you on this, other than all this tech talk, what brings you on the show this morning, Sammy?
I just wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
Were you like about like different stuff and so so I know that you have these recap streams and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you do these like nice streams.
Thank you.
And you have like, welcome to the video calling show with yes, I'm so and so. This is yes, but I think that I just had this idea like an hour ago. I know you do the guest cuts, but the guest, how long do you have to edit the guest cuts?
How long does it take me to edit the guest cuts?
Yes.
I would say only about 15, 20 minutes a piece.
What you have to edit?
What do I use to edit?
Yeah.
I'm using DaVinci Resolve. I think at 15, I might have upgraded to 16. But yeah, DaVinci Resolve. Mm-hmm. And I've got a project saved. So my open is already, it's already setting where it's supposed to be. The close, I get to move around. Yeah. Then I just drag the show in, whatever show it might be. Find my in and out points on that particular guest. I have to duplicate the music to follow all the way through, and then chop off whatever I'm not using. Then I render it, and boom.
Because I had a crazy idea, but it could maybe work.
What's that?
Get a second computer that is running something that is less CPU intensive, that is just recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then you're recording, and then you press stop. Well, on vMix, because I know you will run vMix, so you start and stop, and then you, on that computer, you have like 2 scenes or something that you run, like the yes cut so and so, and then you have the live feed. I just thought of that, and then you would record it, and then later on in the night, you would just schedule it and upload it.
That's actually a pretty good idea. Although I'd be afraid that I wouldn't be able to start and stop it exactly where I want to, so I'd still have to go in there. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'll be saying some things right before the guest comes on. That maybe there's some problems with the microphone. Here's a great example. When you had problems with your microphone, or I'm just not hearing the guest right up front.
Yeah.
I'm yammering, and I might think, well, I don't want to miss this because I got enough to do already. Let me hit record. And I'm probably going to hit record too soon. And then after it's done, I'll probably forget to hit stop record. It's a great idea, Sammy, but I'm afraid that it would just give me one more thing to do while I've got, all these 10 to do right now. And if you've live streamed a couple times, that you can actually create a highlight. I don't know what this does. I've never tried it.
Is this where?
It's on the live control room page when you're live streaming. I haven't even used it yet, but it says, I don't even know exactly, but what I understand it to do is it'll set a start on your as you're live streaming, and then an end, and then you also have an upload button, whatever that does.
And then you can trim it, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably trim it through Studio. But but my method is really kind of easy, Like I said, I just drag it in there. I find out exactly my in and outs. And not only that, but I can edit it individually as well. So a great example was one where I lost the signal for a good long time from somebody. Last night's a good example. You remember when Brad was on? His signal died for a good long time. I went back to me. I yammered for a little bit and then came back. Well, when I do the guest cut, I'll literally go in there and I'll cut that out just because nobody needs to see that.
Yeah. So.
But thanks. Oh, look, God the Good One's in. How you doing, God the Good One? Welcome. Lee the Nerd, I did not say hello to you. Good to see you, my friend. But it is a good idea, though. Seriously.
Yeah. Because I thought of it. And then what you were saying about the like hardwire for the streams, that was a really good idea. So I can maybe I can hook up to the internet. But this is the thing. The router is in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't that closer? Because I know King Jellybean is like farther away. Plus, but this is the thing. My internet is like fast. Like it gets up to like 100.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at 80 now for like the
For download. What's your upload?
Now it's going to see.
Okay.
It says 114, 115.
Download. Mm-hmm.
No, upload.
Probably not. It's probably that's probably download.
No, download is 83.9, and then upload is 113.6.
Where did you go to find this? On speedtest.net?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that usually accurate?
Well, it's usually the other way around.
It's not?
No, it's usually the other way around. Your download megabits per second are usually in the hundreds. Like right now, my download is at 150 point, and this is download megabits per second. It's hovering right around 105.05. It did get as high as 150. Now my upload, which is what I'm doing right now, live streaming. And while I'm live streaming, it's still sitting at around 8 megabits per second. Yeah, because your download is always much higher bit rate than your upload. But your upload is what's important when you're doing what you and I are doing right now. Your image is being uploaded. I am being uploaded from my computer, right? There is a little bit of download because I'm receiving your signal as well via Zoom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I what were your numbers again? 100 or nearly 100?
Yeah, that was like a couple minutes ago, and I just redid it, and now it says 86.9, and then upload is 64.68.
Upload is 64? Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's huge. That is huge. You should be smooth as glass and able to do 4K at that rate.
So that means like I don't need Ethernet?
Well, see, the thing about there's two advantages to hardwiring. One is your signal is always going to be better than Wi-Fi, without question. The second one is it's going to be more consistent, because the problem with Wi-Fi is that it is affected by so many variables, right? Yours is in the next room. Mine is right here on a shelf just above my left shoulder. So, well, in front of me. But if I were to do this in Wi-Fi, it would not be near as smooth as it is being hardwired just 5 feet away from that modem. So, yeah, it's the consistency of signal is what you're looking for as well. So that's.
And then my other question is like very deep, so deep you will maybe love this question.
All right.
So I have been switching video for the Change Project. Were you in the chat last night or something like that?
Was it last night or the night before? I think it was last night before my show. Yes, it was before my show. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was switching and all that stuff, and this is very interesting. So I was thinking, why do you use vMix?
As opposed to like OBS?
Yes, for this video calling show.
Well, two reasons. One, I am very familiar with vMix.
Yes.
Love vMix. And honestly, it gives me more options than an OBS would. So, yeah, Boy, there you go. There's your deep answer. There's just it's familiarity is something that we all look for, especially when we're talking about programs. It's like
Yeah.
using Paint versus Photoshop. If you're very good in Photoshop, you're not going to use Paint, right? Um, Very comfortable, I should say, in Photoshop. Same thing applies here. I'm not saying the vMix is that far ahead of OBS, but
Yeah.
vMix does have a lot more options that appeal to me, and I'm comfortable with. And I know OBS quite well because I've actually trained people on OBS. But I think the flexibility that vMix
Yes.
gives me, and it feels a bit more like a switcher, like a broadcast switcher to me
Yes.
than the other one
Like
does. Yeah, yeah. So there you go.
because, but you know, there's like a feature in OBS that says switcher view on,
Oh, sure, sure. I know. But the look and
and
feel
but
for me.
yeah,
I mean,
and
I
this
shouldn't.
is the thing. I want the next level for like the change project
Mm-hmm.
because I was thinking to title them, but doesn't it hard to do that in OBS? Isn't vMix like better?
Well, yeah, it
Or
is.
like yeah,
It's got a very robust titling system. I can do just about anything I want to with
yeah,
it. Um, the titles that you see now, which I need to straighten up. Yours is a little higher than mine. Is all done natively. I mean, it's literally just another input,
yes,
and then I just type in and I position it where I want to and make the size, and I can use any font that I want to on the fly. Um,
yes.
so
This is the thing. I tested it, but I have a Mac, so I was like using it in like boot camp or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So the best alternative is to like try and get maybe OBS working like very smoothly and trying to get like a better lower third system maybe.
Yeah, there are a lot of options with OBS on lower thirds, as I understand it. Like I said, I haven't had to jack with
Yeah.
that much, but I know for a fact that people do them all the time. It's and plus since it's open source, people are creating those sort of plugins
Yes.
and whatnot for it. Yeah, I would go out and look for those, but it just takes a little bit more work, but you should be able to get about the same results that I get with this.
Oh, not using wine, Sammy? Oh, yeah. I tried wine before, but it didn't work.
Mhm.
Do you know what wine is?
I do not know. Well, I know what wine is, but
So,
not in this
wine is
context.
like a free program for Mac that you can use like Windows programs, and I tried that.
Oh, Windows emulator. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
but
Yep.
I think Boot Camp was better because it was actually working, but it was like killing half of the CPU.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing about live streaming. The other bottleneck is your video card. You've got to have a beefy video card if you are the source of the live stream, right? And
Yeah.
you even hope that your guests have a beefy video card as well because their PC is processing that video as well. And it's something that a lot of people don't think. I read Patty's
Yeah, me too.
but it's something that a lot of people overlook and they don't think about.
Yes.
But that's, normally when you see stutter steps and grainy video and that sort of thing, it's not always the camera. Sometimes it's the video card trying so hard to keep up. Yeah.
And this is the thing. I have the best computer actually out of everyone at the Change Project or Easton's group. Actually, because Easton's on a phone. King Jellybean is on a Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only one that is kind of can actually switch the show. that looks decent and that doesn't have like a bad like this was made by. I hate that. It doesn't look good.
You talking about watermarks?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing with StreamYard is watermark, and it doesn't set yourself, because I feel like StreamYard has very professional things, but the watermark, that's the thing.
Well, I was on a live panel, and that reminds me, I've got to link that thing. Just the other night, and it was with Not a Great Gamer. You watched that show last night, didn't you? And he uses StreamYard, and I don't believe I saw a watermark. I wonder if there's a way in the free version that you can get rid of that.
No, you have to pay.
Huh. I thought for sure he said he was using the free one, but interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't used it myself yet. I do plan on playing with it so I can advise people on it, but I have not used it. Hey, Brad from Drone Kings in Darwin. I didn't see you. I actually saw you earlier. Welcome to the show, my friend. Awesome Epic Adventures. Welcome. Hello. Well, Sammy, did I answer your questions?
Yes.
Awesome. What else can I do for you, my friend?
And this is another question.
All right.
Do you have a separate monitor just for like the guest?
Yes. It's not just for the guest. You'll have to go back and you'll have to look at my equipment tour.
Yes.
Make sure you go to the second one.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that a long time ago.
Yeah, I have in front of me 4 monitors. Yeah. The first one right in front of me, of course, is my laptop, and I'm only looking at the live control room page. And sometimes if I ever do surfing, then I've got a capture on vMix that I can go to if I need it. In fact, here I'll show you. I'm only looking at this on that monitor, which is just the live control room page of YouTube. Now, on my left, I've got one in portrait mode. The Zoom feed is up top. Beneath that is the participants window, and then I've got the chat running. Oh, and this is all on this monitor right over here. On this monitor, which is also in portrait, right next to my laptop.
Yeah.
And it's tall. I think these are only 26-inch monitors. I've got all the vMix interface over there.
Yes.
Now in front of me, I've got another small monitor. It's about 7-inch monitor sitting on a teleprompter.
Yeah.
The camera is right behind the teleprompter. So what I have there is program out of vMix. So I'm watching, I can see me and I can see you.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah, that way I get to look right at you as I'm talking, which is essentially the audience, right?
Yes.
So that's how mine is basically set up. And then of course I got a monitor down here that is my mixer because it's a digital mixer.
Yeah.
And
so I fiddled around with vMix, but I didn't like use it to the full potential. And I know some streamers that I watch that uses vMix, and they pull up comments. Why don't you pull up comments? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I can do that. vMix has that option. In fact, I've done it in several shows. I just don't do it on a regular basis because it's just another thing for me to do. Trust me. There's so many things that I need to do. I would rather pay attention to you, Sammy, than start running through the chat, picking which ones I want to put up on the screen. So I've decided that I only do that every once in a while.
And I actually found like a hack to do that with OBS.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
Like you go to OBS and you screen capture like that window, and then like crop in, and then full scale, then do a green screen.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I can do that as well. I could actually have the chat on the screen as well. I don't see a use for that because you guys are all looking at the chat.
Yeah.
Even those folks who are watching this after it's been processed, they can see the chat. To duplicate it
Why
in the screen doesn't do anything for me.
But that's when, like, that was better when YouTube didn't show the full chat.
Yeah,
And I
perhaps.
feel like vMix comments are great for, like, interacting, and then you can show like that, and it's like,
Let me see if I can find my lower third here that I was using for that. Oh, here was one of them. Now there won't be anything on this, I don't think. Maybe there's an old message, but that's the same thing where I can pick a comment and it'll
yeah,
show their icon, their name, and then whatever the comment was. A lot of times I was using that, in the past few weeks, but it just became too tedious.
yeah. But this is the thing. There was like another person that was helping me doing these streams. They can pick comments with what's it called? vMix Social.
Yes, vMix Social. Yep, that's exactly what that was. When you saw that lower third come up, it would actually hit vMix Social, and it would pick whatever comment that I had chosen to display, and then it would display it. And I can even have them in queue to where I can call them up, and they'll just rotate through. I mean, it's very nice system. And if I had if for those shows that I do, Sammy, that I am not on the air, I'll do that because I got time to do it, right? But when I'm actually hosting the show, it makes it tough, dude. So yeah, I'm glad you found that hack for OBS. That will be cool. Because I'm with you, man. It adds a lot to the shows. But if I had two more arms, I'd be all over it all the time. It's enough. Yeah. It's enough for me to handle my coffee cup.
I'm going to peace out because you do stuff. Plus, you have like the chat, so if anyone wants to come up. But next week, I will be coming up to see if it actually works and if I have like a new live stream set up for all of the streams.
Cool.
Next week, I'm going to try and have like three monitors.
Mm-hmm.
I have like one just the hangout, plus one is my YouTube thing. Very smart.
That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. Yeah, come back on and let me or tell us how it went.
Okay. Bye.
All right, see you, buddy. Okay, we've got about 15 minutes left. Let's bring up our next exciting guest. Can you hear me, my friend?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How you doing, Emmanuel?
I'm doing good.
Oh, let me get your name, man. When's the last time you posted something in chat? Oh, I'm gonna have to type, man.
Just take your time.
Well, having me type is never a really good thing.
Yep.
There we go. What is new and exciting, my friend? This is Emmanuel Goffey, for those of you who don't know. Welcome back to the show, man. What's up?
I'm doing good. It's just that I've been, hearing recent news that, some celebrities died, and just looked into some politics. Nothing much, really. And I'm just going to be hanging out with my dad tomorrow.
You're going to be hanging out with your dad tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. What that was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Can we take them one by one? What was the first one?
Wait, what?
Can we take them one by one? What was the first thing you mentioned that was going on?
So what I was the first one I mentioned was that there are like a few celebrities that died this year.
Oh yeah. Does that affect you personally? I mean, you seem kind of sad about it, or at least concerned.
Well, it doesn't really like affect me a lot, but like I know how the other people feel.
Yeah. It can be tough. I mean, it's one of those things where it's almost as though we believe ourselves to know them personally. You know what I mean? Because they are in our lives, right? Even though we don't know them from Adam, they don't know us from Adam. Um, I get that it hits a lot of people, especially when you look up to them and that sort of thing. Um, what what was the other one you were mentioning?
The second one was that I've watched a few videos of politics, but I can't remember.
You watch a lot of political videos?
A few.
Yeah. That's a tough one too, because right now it seems like there's so much bickering going on, much more than I remember when I was younger. Even though I know for a fact that not much has changed. I mean, it's the old adage: the more things change, the more they stay the same. And we're all thinking that we're all super divided at the moment, and and I got to tell you, it's been that way as long as I can remember. And yet, on the ground, I don't see that at all. I absolutely don't see. I know it's anecdotal evidence, but I don't see that at all, man. And it drives me nuts to watch it lead news stories. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it can be, interesting. It could be sad. Some of the times it's just about my country and Ethiopia, because that's where my parents live.
Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're still there?
Huh?
They're still there?
I don't think so.
Oh. Well, when you said you're going to hang out with your dad, does that means he's here in the States?
Yeah, he's in the States. But about the Ethiopian thing, I think I'm gonna go either next year or the year after that.
Cool. Have you ever been before?
No, I was born here.
You looking forward to it?
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds like an awesome trip, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Now, like what I said earlier, though, excuse me. I was asking if your parents actually live there now, or they live in the States here.
They live in the state here.
Oh, okay.
They lived in their country before.
So they immigrated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Have they, or are they going to be citizens?
Yeah, I believe so.
Awesome. That is awesome. I love it when people come into the country and want to become part of the country. I think it's the best thing in the world, really.
Yeah.
You seem down in the dumps for some reason. You're usually so
Yeah.
chipper.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I tried my best to, upload some videos, like song covers and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I gotta, follow the schedule.
Yeah. So you're trying to adhere to a solid schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say that's one of the best things to do. One to prevent burnout. The other to help your audience, look forward to that and know when it's coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's why I have the community post, just to remind everyone. But there hasn't been like that much people in my community post, but I'm getting there.
Cool. That's the only reason I want 1,000 is to get that community tab. So when things come up, I'm not able to go on. I can post in the community. Hopefully, most of my subscribers will see it.
Yeah.
Because even Monday when I didn't go on, people were asking me, and it's like, well, I always publish a video saying I can't go on that night.
Yeah.
That's not enough, apparently.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Well, is anything else new and exciting in the world of Emmanuel Gaffey? Am I saying that right? Is that your last name, Gaffey?
Yeah, Gaffey.
Gaffey. Okay, cool. Try to remember that. Anything else, dude? What's going on?
About the Change project that King Jellybean himself mentioned earlier, I'm actually a part of the Change project. I joined last year.
Oh, fantastic! What role do you play?
I don't play any role.
Oh, you mean have you been a guest or you are just a viewer, just a participant?
Yeah, participant.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I just always try to check and see like what. I was trying to check to see if anybody is gonna do anything.
Yeah. What do you think?
I love to make a change. I will love to make a change, and I will always do.
So you're totally on board with it, as am I.
Yeah,
that's cool. Hmm. Yeah, I look for some great things out of that.
Yeah,
Um, they're great kids working on it. Him and Sammy and whoever else is behind the scenes. Um, I do.
yeah, Houston, King Jelly Bean, Sammy, yeah, all those people.
Who was the other one? Who was the first one?
Huh?
Who was the first one you mentioned?
Houston
Oh,
Music Ministry.
oh. How did I not know that Easton Music Ministry was in that? God, I suck.
All right, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've always said I'm not the sharpest or the fastest tool in the shed, and I'm fine with that. Oh man, I can't help but feel it. That you seem down. Something's bothering you.
Nothing's really down on me. Just not really that kind of a smiley person, but sometimes I smile, just not a smiley person.
But you got such a great smile, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You gotta smile more. And you know what they say that it'll bring you out of the doldrums. A good smile. You know.
Yeah,
In fact, I got this is not a funny story, but it's kind of a weird story. But we went to Florida. I don't know if you remember me going to Florida a few weeks back, and and Sirius Radio has been after me to sign up for their subscription forever, right?
okay.
And they sent me a letter and said, okay, hey, here's how you get your free trial, 2 months, no obligation, no card or anything like that. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to Sirius for the trip down to Florida. And I did, and just on the trial basis, right? And I've still got it until like August 2nd. And what I ended up starting to listen to were comedy breakouts. There's a channel, I think it's 94, and it's all about comedy snippets from famous comedians over many years. And I got to thinking about why I like to listen to that, and it's because, well, it keeps me in a good mood. And if I'm in a bad mood, it just brings me right out of it, listening to that sort of comedy, because it makes me smile. And sometimes before I go on the show, I'll literally smile a few times and I don't know, tell myself happy things, and it puts me in a better mood so that I can get on here and not be Debbie Downer or anything. So I want to see you smile more, man. You got a much better smile than I do.
Fine.
Fine. Okay. If you say so, Jim.
But yeah, if you ever feel depressed, don't be afraid to ask anybody for help.
That's true.
Yeah, this is a mental health that I noticed. For some people, they don't ask for help; they just keep it to themselves.
Yeah, and that's part of the illness. Is it's hard to reach out.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Hmm. But you've got to help others, or help. Yeah, what is it? Help me help you. And if you don't, then you won't receive that help, right?
Right.
Because so many people are so good at hiding that.
Yeah, keeping secrets.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You keep that buried down. This is probably a subject that that Crohn's chick has covered, I imagine. And I'm totally on board, man, because I've had my bouts with depression. Um, so yeah, even Graham Stacker, a new visitor to the show, says, "Well said, Emmanuel." Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, dude, keep your chin up, man.
I will.
We're heading up on the top of the hour. I want to wish you a great weekend, and you and your dad are on good terms, right?
Yeah, we are in good terms.
Fantastic. Enjoy the day, my friend. Enjoy the
I will.
weekend. And come back and see us, all right?
All right.
All
Yeah.
right. All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Mr. Switch couldn't get the switch fast enough there. Emmanuel's a longtime friend of the show. Love having him on. Nipple Hustle, how you doing? Welcome to the show. I don't know. It seems like, Emmanuel, you're a little depressed to me. Um, and good Lord, I hope that wasn't an ask for help. I'm certainly not qualified to help in that arena. But he's right, and I don't think I think if Emmanuel was truly depressed, he would ask for help. You heard what he just said. So, but that goes to all of us. If any of you feel like you're depressed or you've got some sort of mental illness or not deficiency, but if things just don't feel right, talk it out. I'll listen. If you guys want to come on the show and it's that sort of thing, I will absolutely listen. I can't guarantee my advice is going to be the greatest because, like I said, I'm not necessarily the best in that arena, but I'll certainly do what I can. You know, Nipple Hustle, great name, by the way. You had to make me say Nipple Hustle. You're not incorrect at all. I wouldn't say all millennials are depressed. That's kind of a blanket statement, but I've heard there are many studies that have shown that there are a great deal of millennials that find themselves depressed. And I totally get that. In the world that they live in today is a totally different world than we lived in. Albeit, yeah, it's the same. But there are so many different social ills, for lack of a better term, that they have to deal with that we didn't have to deal with. Connectivity is probably the greatest barrier to, well, ironically, the connectivity we have today is one that has not entirely eliminated one-on-one interaction, but it's coming close. And if I had to say anything to a millennial who's depressed, and maybe it's because of the connectivity in the digital, world that we live in today, put it down for a while. Get outside, meet people, talk to people, have fun. Forget about the text. And when I say that, forget about the pixels on that screen for as long as you can. We did it all the time when I was growing up. Getting on the phone was a rarity when I was growing up. I mean, rarity. Sometimes it wouldn't happen for days. We just interacted one-on-one. And I think we were healthier for it. And I believe that's great advice, Jesse. Go out and play. Only Claire Jones, welcome to the show, by the way. If you guys aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. It doesn't cost anything. And make sure you ring the bell. Now, I'm on every Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most of those shows are one-on-one, just like you saw today. Friday's 10 a.m. show is for anyone who can't make my 10 p.m. shows, whether it be here in the States or right over the pond because of the lateness of 10 p.m. And I encourage you to come on the show, and anytime you want to. You can talk about the topic of the day. It doesn't matter. You can talk about whatever crosses your mind. So, yes. Patty says, we just played outside. Climb trees. Go climb a tree. You want to change your life. Go climb a tree without your phone. And then just sit and look around. Take in the beauty. Who said it best? Well, somebody said it, but Ringo Starr encapsulated in the song. You got to smell the roses. You got to stop. Smell the roses. All right, folks, listen. I got a busy day, so I'm going to call it one. Thanks so much for joining us. Really, again, if this is your first time, or if you're watching this after a process, hit that subscribe button. Make a difference. Share this. If you're not sharing these videos, you're doing it wrong. But come on the show. Have fun with Jim. But always remember to treat others the way you want to be treated. If we all did that, this world would be a fantastic place. Have a good weekend, folks. We'll see you live.